What's good? What is good? What is going on, everybody? This is the August 23rd, 2020 episode of the Boxing Source Radio Show. I am your host, James Bell, the leader of the Boxing Source on social media and the digital world, or whatever you want to call it. You can find boxing articles through our website, theboxingsource.net. You can follow us on Facebook. Just look up the Boxing Source and like the page. Right? We are also on Instagram, so you could add us on Instagram through the Boxing Source. You can also follow us on Twitter at Boxing Source 2. And we also do have a YouTube channel through the Boxing Source where you could also catch the simulcast audio live right there on YouTube. And chances are we will continue the boxing conversation on YouTube after, I would say, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. But right now, you can join in the boxing conversation by calling the number 347-237-5539. That is 347-237-5539. Press the 1 key to get on cue. You'll be able to talk live on the show. A lot of action went down on Saturday, all day Saturday. Of course, you know that we're going to be talking about the upset that took place in the fight camp over in Essex at the United Kingdom. And we will have planned the biggest Dylan Whyte hater on the planet to talk about that particular fight. But we also are going to have a guest on to talk to us about the particular fight and more. Scheduled to be either around 7:45 p.m. Eastern time or 8 p.m. Eastern time. But we also have a lot of other boxing matches to talk about. That includes the former welterweight world champion, Sean Porter, going up against Sebastian Formella. We will be going over that here real quick with the results of that. We will also have the results from the fight card for the co-feature bout and the main event at the Bubble in Las Vegas. And the co-feature bout to Dylan Whyte and Alexander Povetkin with the rematch of Katie Taylor versus Delphine Person, right? So let's get into it. I'll just mix things up here. First I wanted to, get into that Katie Taylor Delphine Person rematch, right? Because the first fight I was able to see at Madison Square Garden on June 1st of last year, right? Now, that particular fight, I felt that Katie Taylor did just enough to squeak out the win, 7-5. I felt that she was able to establish her boxing skills early and often in the fight against Delphine Person and was able to land well with her combinations. But in the second half of the fight, through round 7 through 12, it just felt like she ran out of gas. She could not utilize her movement around the ring. And Delphine Person was able to land a good amount of shots on Katie Taylor in that second half of that fight on June 1st. there. So a lot of people felt that Delphine Persoon should have got the nod and should have been called the undisputed lightweight champion. But it was Katie Taylor that got the nod. Katie Taylor that stayed undefeated, and she was able to, get all of the belts there at lightweight. She's had one particular defense of those undisputed lightweight titles before this rematch here against Delphine Persoon. Delphine Persoon did face Helen Joseph later last year, over in November of last year. Got the unanimous decision win before facing Katie Taylor, while Katie Taylor defended her titles against Christina Lenardatu. Yeah, that's what it says, Lenardatu. So, that was a good little back and forth battle that they had in June. And then now, once they had locked down this particular rematch after, we had the thing with Katie Taylor possibly fighting Amanda Serrano, but we talked about what happened in that particular situation a few weeks ago. And that is why we do have this fight here against Delphine Persoon. Now, this rematch fight looked similar to the first fight at the start, but with the exception of Delphine Persoon being very, very aggressive. Persoon looked like the much taller fighter, of course, with her frame and everything like that. She was just coming forward, throwing punches, just seeing if she could cut off the ring against Katie Taylor, but throwing punches. And once she got in close, she was still throwing punches, trying to get inside with the hooks to the head and everything like that. But while she was trying to get in through hooks to the head, Katie Taylor did a 1-2 to the body, tried to break away from a clinch and everything like that. But Katie Taylor also was trying to establish range, see where her opponent is, be on the back foot, throw the jab, throw the jab, throw the jab. And she was able to throw that jab, on the back foot. And, for me, kind of like was going fairly well in those, particular early rounds that she had against Delphine Persoon. So, with that being said, I thought that she was able to, establish a little bit of a lead in the first couple of rounds. She was able to, I would say, get a good lead. Get a good lead in this particular bout. There was a welt that did, take place, or that was suffered by Delphine Persoon. I think it was like right under her right eye. And the thing about it is, it showed that Persoon had to work with that welt that she did have on her eye there, so that she would be able to have to adjust to that. But it wasn't really much of an issue. There wasn't really much blood coming from it. Her corner was able to, patch that up fairly well, so it didn't seem like it was going to be more of an issue over the course of the fight. But Katie Taylor was still able to work the jab, do a couple of combinations, especially on the inside, try to work 1-2 combinations to the body. I think she used punches to the body a little bit more in this fight than she did in the last fight. And I think that, gave her some success. While Delphine Persoon, after about, rounds 3 or 4, she kind of looked like she was going for a big right hand on Katie Taylor. Now, the thing with that is that you kind of like see most of those punches coming. And that's the thing with what Katie Taylor did. She saw those punches coming. She saw those punches coming. She either blocked them or she was able to be out of range from those punches coming. So I feel like Persoon, while she was continuously being aggressive in this particular fight, there was a lot of instances where she was missing punches while she was coming forward, and Katie Taylor was more focused, on her opponent, seeing where Persoon was, getting the 1-2, getting inside and then outside of range, making sure that she didn't really catch that much damage from Delphine Persoon in this particular bout. Now, with Persoon, like I said, with her coming forward, there are times when Katie Taylor was backing up to the ropes and they were tied up, and things kind of got a little bit sloppy, so to speak, where there were times when Katie Taylor kind of slipped on down to the canvas and things like that, and punches didn't land where they were supposed to land at. So there was one instance where Persoon was close to fouling. So that's where we got in that particular instance there. Seeing here, I might have someone special here on the line. Let's see here. Checking in from the 702 area code. What's good? This is the Boxing Source Radio Show. TNT, what is good, my man? What is good?
So if you guys hear some noise in the background, just bear with me because I'm at dinner with the family right now.
Hey, no problem there, man. It's all good. Just catching you on here because I had a good friend and a great contributor to this podcast kind of reach out to you to see if you could come on. But actually, I had another person that wanted to, get you onto this show in the past there. That's also around the Tampa Bay area, and that's Mr. Gary Riley. I'm sure you may be familiar with that name. Yeah. Yep. So I mean, he's a huge contributor to the show. He's gotten me in contact with a lot of the guests that I've had on the show. So we wanted to have you on, but we weren't able to work on that. But my other guy there, brother Terrell, was able to get in contact with you. So like kind of going to what's going on with you right now. I know that you had a recent win in November of last year over in the Tampa Bay area. So you're kind of like working on get back in there in the heavyweight division.
Lined up for me, and due to the COVID, we had to cancel all the fights. I know that boxing is back up and running, and I'm looking forward coming the middle of October, November. Actually, be back in the ring. So it's excited, man. And the family is good. Everybody's healthy back here in America and back home in Jamaica. So I'm just very thankful right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you, man. Coming from that, area, man, I do have plans to try to get out to, to the Kingston area pretty soon. But, how is it to, kind of represent Jamaica there, while being in the ring?
While I was over in the UK, it was a big Jamaican population there. I was very thankful for that. The fans over there, they cried for me to come back. Matter of fact, I'm going to reach out to Eddie Hearn and see, I let him know middle of October, November is when I actually want to get back in the ring. So, by grace of God, man, I stay healthy, continue to stay healthy and just get better. I'm a little bit, the time off does some good. I'm a little bit wiser now, smart, Big shout out to Coach Rick, Coach Kenny, and everyone who I failed to get this far in my career. I mean, so I'm just very excited to be back in the ring.
Yeah, gotcha. Now, you were like I said, in action on November 2019 against Miguel Cubos, and that was, basically quick work there for you. You was able to, get things done within a few minutes there, and like you said, get back into gear there in the heavyweight division. So go over that particular fight, because I know it was like a good amount of time since you had a fight before the thing there in Tampa against Cubos. Uh-huh.
We worked on that. We studied him, and he like a rock. Trying to force for the overhand right, and I just timed him perfect with the left uppercut, and it was a good night.
Yep. So you were able to, get him with that, pretty much like a perfect counterpunch, and was able to score that KO victory there, man, to improve your record. What is it, like 23-5-1, right?
Again, welcome is back. Maybe division is alive, and Povetkin can show you. The show the world last night again when an underdog, prevail and just stay sports and be patient. Doesn't matter how much time he went down, he got up.
Yeah.
And in boxing, we say you lose so much for 1 second, I think your opponent can learn a shot and it's over with, and that's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
It was a beautiful left uppercut he caught him with. I mean, he faked him on both the body and put it right up. I mean, it was just picture perfect, man. I've been in the ring with Povetkin, and I told him on my social media, do not sleep on this guy. I know what this guy is capable of because everybody wrote him off.
Right.
Do not sleep on Povetkin. I said it, and people was just like, oh, Whyte gonna win? I said, yeah, he should, but trust Povetkin is the guy that's gonna do the upset. That's what we saw last night.
Yeah, because I mean, we see that. I know that Povetkin being a Olympic gold medalist, I think it was back in 2004. Very accomplished in the professional ranks. Did have the WBA regular title at one point, and had been a top contender for a heavyweight title for a long time, and did give Anthony Joshua problems a couple of years ago before getting stopped. But he's always been a tough out for any fighter that he's gone up against. And the thing is like with Dylan Whyte, he was he did kind of knock down Alexander Povetkin, but didn't really finish him off when he had that opportunity in the 4th round. And so in the 5th round, like you said, Povetkin just ducked under and then came back with that left uppercut with like full force and caught Dylan Whyte. And it was like one of the best, punches of the year right there. I'm going to see if I could get on. I'm going to see if I can get on the guest to see if he can talk in with us. You're here on the Boxing Source Radio Show with Lim Thomas.
Hey, how's it going, man? Thanks for having me. Limroy, you fought Dominic Brazil, you fought Joe Joyce. Who would you say is the harder puncher?
The other thing was obviously Joyce. It's like a modern big George Foreman. He looks robotic, but once he's in front of him, the style, his velocity, his tempo, will break anybody down. And he's gonna be a threat in the heavyweight division. Honestly, he's gonna be a threat. He's gonna be a threat. Truthfully, it's one of those guys that I lost my title to him, but it was he earned it. You know what I'm saying? Because he wasn't accomplishing the amateurs, and Sam Jones, his manager, who we actually a good friend, he did a good job of moving him. Really good job. And the guy just again is a modern Big George, man. Just ragged and just keep moving.
How do you see that fight with him and Daniel Dubois playing out when it happens?
It's so funny that I met Dubois and I met Joyce, back in 2015 when I was in England in training camp, and at the time Dubois was 17, and they was telling me he was 17. I was like, nah, but the kid was good. And back in 2018, they offered to fight between him, and they turned it down. They didn't want to fight a southpaw. But of course, answer your question, it's gonna be a slugfest first couple rounds, and still gonna really get caught when you go down. But I think Joyce might. I get it 50-50 right now. The fight getting closer, and I still, I see how both sides are preparing. I will call back in and I will give my final prediction of the fight.
Okay.
They said 1 point between the whole fight, and we saw that last night.
We saw that last night.
He got knocked out. He's smiling to the bank. This morning he got a nice check, and he's good. You know what I'm saying? He made more money than he's been most of the the last 5 years of their life. You get what I'm saying? So he may have lost in the ring, but in life he's winning. Do you understand that? What I just said there?
Yeah.
We can sit here and say, oh, he got knocked out, he got this, but the man paid over $3 million, and that's in pounds. That's not in American dollars. I mean, that's in euros. You know what I'm saying? So that's a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? So he's gonna come back again. They're gonna try to do the rematch in December, January. I'm looking forward to it.
Now they're probably gonna make even more because now everybody's interested in the fight.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be bigger, and knowing how the Russians were, most likely they're gonna try to have that fight somewhere over there.
Yeah, Ryan Binsky wants to have it over in if they have the things able to have those events out there, then Ryan Binsky definitely would want it over in St. Petersburg, Russia. There. Let me see if I can add in a caller here. I know that this is one of the happiest days of his life because not only is this person the president of the Deontay Wilder fan club, but he is the #1 Dylan Whyte hater on the planet. This is Mr. Matthew Brown. What's going on?
Matt, where you at?
Oh, Lord.
I played on Dwayne White downfall. And the most and uppercut from the heavens. Oh, man.
Calm down, man. Calm down. Yeah.
On top of that, guys, and I'm calling again. All right?
All right. Yeah, we can do that next week. Oh, no doubt.
All right.
So yeah, that's Leroy Thomas there, man. We were able to catch up with him there for a little bit. He did talk about his time when he was in camp with Alexander Povetkin, and he kind of like saw those openings that Dylan Whyte had, and he did mention like Povetkin is that fighter that he always knows how to get inside against his opponents. No matter what their skill level is, what their skill set is. And
Hey,
so,
hey Jay,
yo,
I didn't notice how technically sound he was until the knockout. Like I didn't really watch him. I looked at that knockout probably like 15 times because like Matt said, it was the uppercut from the heavens. It was like the one that Captain America hit Thor with when he first grabbed Mjolnir. But I'm watching him, and it was just technically perfect. He throws the jab to get Dylan Whyte's hands up.
mm-hmm.
He counters with a bullshit right hand. He slips the right hand, then shoots it across his body in between the guard.
Yeah,
Fucking magnificent, man.
like
One of the best knockouts I've ever seen in my life, dude.
like but it just shows like how much experience Alexander Povetkin has. I mean, like the thing about it is, like you said, you have to know or pretty much have a great idea of what your opponent is going to do once you throw that jab. Like once you throw it and your opponent responds and it's the response that you're looking for, then oh yeah, wow, just come right back off of that and wow. With that
Do you feel like that was a practice punch?
I mean, I feel like he did scout. I feel like he scouted Whyte. I feel like he did. I just think that he kind of knew the tendencies of Dylan Whyte. And if you look at, Dylan Whyte's, previous fights, with the exception of the thing there with Marius Watt, like a lot of times you see him pretty much getting caught with those similar type of punches against guys around that height, So it's like, well, if you're able to scout it, then, or, if you see that opening there for him, you got to take advantage of that, the whole time, man. I just felt like, because he said, like, after the fight, he was like, he watched his fights and, that he was missing punches. And then during his training, he was, looking at putting up combinations around those shots. So he was looking at, those openings that Dylan Whyte has, either with his jab or, with his power shots. Because even in the during the course of the fight, I'm not sure if you like kind of like we're listening to the commentary, but within the like second and third round, they were saying like, oh, Dylan Whyte's throwing a jab, but he's throwing it a little bit lazy, and he has to be able to snap that jab, better against, Povetkin. So, I mean, I kind of like seeing that, out there with them. So even with the whole thing when it came to the knockdowns that happened in the fourth round, that was basically, Povetkin getting a little bit too greedy, because in the first knockdown, he came forward throwing punches, but then, Dylan Whyte just kind of caught him with a right, and then he went down to one knee. And then at the end of the round, when he was trying to throw combinations, that's when he got caught within the left uppercut to put him down to the canvas. So it was more of like Povetkin just saying, well, I'm not, getting to him yet, but I'm working on it. Because like you were saying, in a lot of fights with Dylan Whyte, he gets lazy with a lot of his shots. He gets lazy. He doesn't.
The beef patty daddy.
I don't know if that's supposed to be offensive or not. Yeah.
No, how's it offensive? Offensive. That dude, he's always out of shape.
Yeah, he is out of shape there, but I mean, he kind of like looked like he wanted to work on his, physique for this particular matchup. But it was just that, in this instance, he just was doing things kind of like, through the motions. And like Matt usually says, if you have somebody in the ring against you, that you should be able to get out of there, then you got to get him out of there ASAP. And this fight here against Povetkin, I think what they wanted to do was eventually break Povetkin down in the later rounds. But it's Alexander Povetkin and it's the heavyweight division. You can't go ahead and go through the motions when you have him in trouble. And that's what I saw with Dylan Whyte in that fourth round. Once he caught Povetkin with that first knockdown, he didn't really get too aggressive with him. He got complacent.
He
got complacent. So
let's look at it. I equate Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte is never seems to be in great shape. Now his body looked good yesterday, but he seemed to be tiring out. I equate Dillian Whyte to dudes like Tank and Broner and Andy Ruiz, guys like that they have to be really active. If there's any kind of time off, then like you saw Tank's physique. Come on, man.
Laugh now.
Come on.
Oh my God.
Tank is shaped like a East Coast drug lord.
Either that or Mexican drug lord.
And y'all know what I'm talking about, man. The fat dude that be buying all the bottles in the club with a whole bunch of chains. Yeah, that's what he's shaped like right now.
Oh man, let me add. Yo, that's funny as hell, son. Yo, I'm gonna add 2 callers in here, man. Y'all just missed Lenroy. He had to step out. He was having dinner with his family and everything like that. So he'll be back on next week. But first, 813, you're on the Boston Source Radio Show, man.
We had such a great week of unlock amidst the pandemic. You can just start for action, start for coverage, stuff to talk about instead of the same old generated topics. And now we actually have a full week of boxing from stateside all the way over to the UK. And in regards to that, there's impacts from each fight, from women's boxing to heavyweight 147, and also supporting bouts as well. So it was just a great weekend of boxing. I'm still just excited about it, trying to take everything in. And even in regards to what you guys were speaking about, in regards to the Whyte Povetkin fight, like you said, Jay, first of all, this is the heavyweight division. So on any given day, someone can win that. That's not expected to win. I think the large majority of people were certainly expecting Dylan Whyte to come out and emerge victorious, whether it be by knockout, decision, or whatever. I think when that left hook came in and put him down for the count, I was like, wow, did not see that coming. I mean, even with the story, we already know the story goes with the backstory. Anthony Joshua facing Dylan Whyte back in, I think, 2015, facing Povetkin back in 2018. And, of course, Joshua emerged victorious from both those bouts, even this past one on the side storyline. When you got Dylan Whyte, long-time contender for the WBC title, always playing Cinderella, but never getting to the problem, whatever, things like that. We know about that. Always been chasing Deontay Wilder for who knows how long. Once again, never getting to that fight. Being campaigning for a rematch with Anthony Joshua from time to time, and it kind of seemed like he was, and it's closer to that because. What was it? Dylan Whyte's last fight against I forget who it was.
Oscar Rivas.
Joshua came to the ring. Yeah, I think Joshua came to the ringside and said, "Hey, I respect you, and if anybody deserves a rematch, it would be you." And you fast forward to last night with Anthony Joshua in attendance of the Povetkin fight. I'm sure you guys saw his reaction on Twitter at the time knockout. He just was he could barely contain himself and was like, dude, if you can't beat Povetkin, you definitely don't deserve a rematch with me. But it's kind of funny because, like, all things pointed for Dylan Whyte. We know that. It was all set up for him to maintain his position, even though it's probably likely he's not going to get a title fight anytime soon. So basically, it's to just enjoy that diamond belt he had, whatever, that the WBC installed him at. And that's pretty much just holding that thing. Because the thing about it, with Fury Joshua 2, and even the upcoming Fury Joshua 3, it's just too much money out there to be made other than the US round with the Dylan Whyte of the world. So really, he probably was going to never ever get that shot. We know that. But it's just so funny when you look at the impact of last night's loss, and now he's forced to answer so many questions. At the same time, good for Povetkin, a 40-year-old who body top has definitely not hurt with. He's still fighting. And even despite, I was leaning towards Dylan Whyte. I definitely was, but at the same time, I know that Povetkin is the better boxer, as we saw last night, right? Despite Dylan Whyte's physicality in the bout and things like that, got the 2 knockdowns, cool. And even like said, Jay, once you spill blood in the water, you need to go up there and finish it off.
Yep.
That didn't happen. And once again, Povetkin's boxing skills, the ability to throw punches from different angles. And that's one of the aspects of boxing that we don't really talk about. It's not just about a jab. It's not just about a power, straight right, things like that. The ability to throw punches from different angles and keep that power. Dylan Whyte came in better shape this camp. I think he was 257, something like that. I forgot what his weight was. While Povetkin came in, was it 234? I think something like that. But still, it's heavyweight. So we know that.
Yeah.
But once again, the ability to throw punches from different angles and know how to really punch bomb squad. You already know something about that one. But it's just a great weekend of boxing, and I can't wait to see the impact on the heavyweight division as Dylan Whyte takes a step backwards, and of course, Povetkin take a step forward. So now we get to sit down and look at properly on the prediction of the next fight and how they voted for both fights going forward.
Oh goodness, I can't believe it. So you mean to tell me that we had that chant from Deontay Wilder said twice on the podcast? That's a new record, man. That is a new record. I'll go through, the whole thing with this situation with Whyte, Povetkin, and Anthony Joshua being in attendance a little bit later. But I want to get 205's comments on this particular bout before I go into that in depth. 205, you're on the Bicycle Source Radio Show with us. What's good? From the ATL, Mike Grady, what's up?
I thought it was a pretty good fight. It was more even than I thought it would be. And I can't say I feel like Povetkin was the better boxer than Povetkin. Like, I feel like he won the fight, and I'll tell you why he landed that shot. But, like, I just felt like Dylan Whyte was getting the better out of most things. Like, when they would exchange, the fact that he mastered it, Povetkin, his shot landed.
Right.
Because they both looked or something, and then Dylan Whyte's shot would land. Why he got knocked out. One thing trying to explain with him is his shot would land first. And whether it was being off balance or whether it was a good shot, which happened with the knockdown, Dylan Whyte landed quicker. The one thing that Dylan Whyte was doing from the beginning, and he does this, I feel like he does this all the time. But with the veteran, he starts on shots, whether they were hooks or, like, they mostly were hooks and wild shots or whatever. But Dylan Whyte would lean in, he would, like, lean down and put up his earmuffs and, like, just lean down. And that would be his only form of defense against what Povetkin was throwing at him. So if you look at it from round one, every time Povetkin would throw, like, his wide hook, every time Povetkin would, like, let go and just, like, boom, 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 throw his 2-3 hooks, Dylan Whyte would put his arms up and just dip his head down, and then that would be how he blocked the shot.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, he blocked most of the shots. Some of the shots landed, cleaner or whatever. But every time Povetkin threw shots, Dylan Whyte literally put his hands up and just, and just braced. He just braced himself.
Yeah.
That's what caused him getting knocked the fuck out. Because if that is your only form of defense, so every time he did that, he never was looking to see where the shots were coming.
Mm-hmm.
And so Povetkin being an Olympian can see that. And so every time he dipped down, and then he wait for the shot to come. He dipped down, brace, wait for the shot, boom, boom, boom. And then he did that up until, the later rounds. And so in the last round, the same thing happened where, Povetkin, I ain't gonna say he fainted, but maybe they threw shots or whatever happened. But whatever have you, Dylan Whyte braced, was waiting for the shot. So he braced, and waited for the boom, boom, boom. And then by that time, Povetkin slipped. And when he slipped, he was under Dylan Whyte. And so at this point, he's under him. So the best shot you can throw right there is just to throw from where you at, which is down below, and just throw up. But that's exactly what he did. He was down below him, so he just literally came up with the uppercut, and it was a clean shot at Murder She Wrote. And I was telling Matt that I felt like I saw Manny Pacquiao falling or something. I was like, is this Marquez punching Manny Pacquiao or something? That's exactly how it looked when he fell.
Well, I wouldn't say the thing there with Marquez and Pacquiao. I just thought of it. This looked like when Roy Jones got hit with the left by Antonio Tarver. That's what this looked like, because Tarver was able to use his full force with that left hand to catch Roy Jones, and Povetkin, caught Dylan Whyte with that left uppercut because he was in the perfect position, had the perfect opening, and just used that punch right there. And what you were pointing out there with Dylan Whyte in reference to the fence is that, like you said, he kind of like puts his hands up. He puts his hands up, to kind of block the shots, puts his hands up. And the funny part about after the fight, after he got, after he lost, knocked out, then the morning after, he told, who is it, Adam Smith or Sky Sports or whatever it is, he said that in the gym, he was practicing for the left uppercut and to defend against the left uppercut. Yet he couldn't defend against the left uppercut. And you really didn't see that or any type of real, kind of block or defense to, go get away from that left uppercut. He pretty much just either had, like you said, his hands up with a little bit of opening down below, or he would have one of his hands down so that if there was a counter coming from Povetkin, he would have got caught by it. So for him to say that after the fight was kind of funny in one instance. The second instance was that I'll bring this up once again with Matt. Hopefully, I don't know if he has like interference or something like that, but it's like some type of background there. So yeah, it might be or something. I don't know, man. I don't know what it is, but like you say, if you have somebody like that's not supposed to be in the ring with you, you got to get them out of there ASAP. Now, in the commentary that I was listening to or whatever it was, like when it was like either the second or the third round, they were like, "Oh, you got Alexander Povetkin there. He's looking a lot slower than he had in his previous fights, like, against a Michael Hunter or a Huey Fury." And it's saying he's, looking, a lot slower. And then after he gets knocked down twice, you're like, "Oh, I don't know about his punch resistance or anything like that." But it's the heavyweight division, man. Like, it doesn't matter if you get, knocked down, once or twice or whatever. If you get hit with the right shot in the heavyweight division, you going down. You going down. And that's what happened to Dylan Whyte. But here's the other thing. Like you said, yeah, but here's
The reason I didn't explode was because he didn't work with him damn near every fight was this. He tried to take the guy out, and then he had to go 6 more rounds and really don't have any gas in the tank. Which is why I think he was, waiting it out, which is smart for him and AJ. Like, if you're not sure that you're gonna take the guy out, why put yourself in that position to be really tired like AJ in any fight, and not.
You got to take that chance sometimes. You got to take that chance sometimes because, like, that's a whole different animal. That's a whole different animal. Because when AJ did this thing to Povetkin, when he was there in the 7th or 8th round and he knocked him down the first time, he went for the gusto and he was able to knock out or stop Alexander Povetkin at that time. In the heavyweight division, you can't, like when you have Deontay Wilder and he knocks down an opponent, you think that he just goes there and he is patient against his opponents? No.
Against one of his opponents, either Luis Ortiz and Luis Ortiz too, or in the first Tyson Fury fight when he had Tyson Fury, then he let his hands go, and he got tired and had to regroup. I think he was tired.
It was the last round. It don't matter. Against Ortiz, what he did was when he knocked Ortiz down the first time, Ortiz was not hurt. That's what the issue was. When he had rocked him, he wasn't hurt, and he jumped in. Ortiz caught him with the short hand, and that's what rocked Wilder. But when Ortiz was actually hurt in that 10th round, you saw Wilder went for the gusto, and he ain't hold back. Listen, what James Toney said. Sometimes you got to bring ass to get ass.
Yep.
And you got to be able to take those chances, have faith in your chin and your stamina. But unfortunately for Dillian Whyte, because he's only gotten by with cheating.
Oh, come on, man.
And now, Billy Joe Saunders, look at him. He got caught. He can't make 160 anymore. Dillian Whyte, he got caught. Look at him. He can't finish anymore. It just is what it is. Marius rocked him when they fought in December. Let's not forget that. Rocked him with an uppercut also. And he looked like he didn't want to fight like that. This is just who the new Dillian Whyte is. When he stole Adrian Broner's whole fucking flow and called himself the Can Man, what he really meant was he's the tomato can man.
Oh, see? Here we go.
And he is the canvas like a can full of a shelf. The referee got the roll. I'm speaking like that. Oh, God. I got to rewatch that again. Oh, I'm sorry. Continue the show. I apologize, y'all.
Hey, calm down. We don't want to have somebody having to change their clothes during the show. All right. So hold on. Let me see. Let me see if I got this thing here, man. Where's this thing? I got a whole bunch of picks. Man, let me go back, man. Like, man, that was kind of that was kind of bad there by Bob Arum, man. I like I said, man, I thought his troll game was on 100, when he did that, man. Let me see. Let's see. Because like, yeah, man, everybody here was just, going off with this thing, man. So it was just, it was just madness, man. I mean, he. Oh, come on, man. Come on, man.
When he got hit. And by the way, don't be surprised if Julian Whyte got caught with PEDs again. I'm just telling you that right now. Don't be surprised. Because I don't know if you noticed, but Julian Whyte didn't cut his hair again. Last time he didn't cut his hair was the Reebok fight, and we all know why he didn't cut his hair, because he needs a hair sample. So I'm just going to put that out there.
Nah, he got his hair, man. He got his hair.
No haircut for Julian Whyte again. Just watch. Just watch.
He's not bald, yo. He ain't go bald. But let me see something, man. So hold on, we got some comments here from another special guest. So, oh man, this is perfect. Dylan Whyte was so busy fighting for his WBC manager position that he didn't see Povetkin's uppercut that knocked him cold on his ass.
Number one, I watched it. I think I watched that punch like 100 times already. Like, oh my god, I just can't get enough of it. Like, wow.
Calm down, man. Calm down. All right, you had two guys that you talk about, two cheaters, and now you want to hold the Russian flag up high now. Like, look at you. Oh, man. Oh, before we, go back in there. Oh, God.
It wasn't even a straight punch, but at the same time, even though in that awkward angle, because he knows how to fight, he knows how to move his body and throw a punch and put his body through the punch. He knocked him out. A heavyweight fighter, someone that's 250 plus. So that says a lot about his boxing ability. Once again, the ability to throw a power punch from different angles. There's only the professionals that can really bomb squads know how to do that. But we won't name names other than that, right?
Oh, man, I don't know, man. This show might have to end early because we are not allowed to have that many mentions of that term on the show. Oh, God. Oh, Lord. But you had somebody at 224 being able to just freaking flatten somebody over 250 because, man, yo, if it wasn't like you said, he came down. It was almost like a Mike Tyson uppercut or something because he came down, bobbed down, and they came up with the uppercut. Blah! And that was it, boy. That was it. And I don't know, man. I don't know if I should, move on to the next event or revisit the whole thing with No, it ain't. No, it ain't. You know what? No, this is the Boxing Source radio show, and we're talking about boxing. All right. We already went through the facts that Dylan Whyte got knocked out for the interim WBC title and the WBC Diamond title, which means that Povetkin has to take more out of his check in order to keep both of those belts. Now, You also had the rematch with Katie Taylor and Delphine Persoon, and yeah. Oh, nah, man. This was more definite or more definitive. Just like, yes, that's just so McCaskill could beat down Katie Taylor. Let's go. Let's go, Caskiller. Let's go, Caskiller. I mean, Persoon after the fight was talking like a loser. I'm sorry. Like, come on. Like, oh no!
The first fight. Like, maybe women start to score because I don't understand how you could give Katie Taylor that fight.
With more accurate punches, with landing better shots, not missing as badly as Persoon was. Oh, nah. Not with the body work. Not with the body work that Katie Taylor was doing.
And then he doesn't treat the women's game like amateurs. This shit, and I'm surprised. I'm surprised that you have Katie Taylor to win because this fight reminded me so much of a fight that you have a problem with the scoring, and that fight is Keith Thurman versus Sean Porter. To me, Delphine Persoon was Sean Porter in this fight.
Nah, Sean Porter Sean Porter landed a whole bunch of shots against Keith Thurman. Delphine Persoon did. I don't think so, buddy. Oh. Oh, wow. Yo, that's horrible, son. That is horrible. Oh. I mean, they.
Why did ever go punch that?
Man.
Well, that just speaks to their ability and desire to control the broadcast, to control the narrative of a fight. From that point, their announcers are in a sense geared towards a certain fighter. I mean, when you look at the backstory now behind Katie Taylor, what's next for her at this point? So it looks like they want to match her up with Jessica McCaskill down the road, things like that. So, and that's what's considered a glory fight. And just even just to speak on that real quick, when's the last time we had this type of research in women's boxing? We look back to last year with Clarissa doing all that she did, beating Christina Hammer, going down to 154, getting the title, and whatever weight that she was at, 160, she got that title, and doing all that within a small amount of fight. You can look forward to now. We got the Katie Taylors of the world, Jessica McCaskill, have these great matchups, stuff like Katie Taylor, stuff. It's a good period for women's boxing, and we haven't seen this good run in women's boxing for quite some time. So it's good to have that. We got good storyline. To see the breakers getting their title stats for all this stuff is just good for boxing. But we're really back in the zone. They just simply controlling the narrative, and the fact, like that there's no punch stats out there. That's ridiculous. Because we can always go back to pretty much any fight and look at the numbers of the fight. But once again, they're simply controlling the narrative and protecting their brand. That's what it boils down to. That's why I hope that McCaskill does get the ring with Katie Taylor, and that's her titles as well. Would be great.
Let me ask you guys a question. We thought that Katie Taylor was going to fight Cecilia Braekhus next, right? At what weight was that fight going to be at?
Wait, what? Oh, repeat that question for me, please.
What weight did we think Taylor was going to fight Cecilia Braekhus?
None, because if Cecilia Braekhus won, then they wouldn't have that fight. You think, does anyone here think that Katie Taylor is going to go up 2 divisions to 147 to face Cecilia Braekhus? Because Cecilia Braekhus ain't going down. Well, that's Katie Taylor.
Then why don't she go up to 147? And why don't certain junior middleweight go down to 147 and meet for the ultimate women's super fight?
Well, we heard from one particular promoter that says that this young lady can make 147, although he still hasn't given me an update on when this person is supposed to be coming on the show. So we got to do something about that. But he says that she can help. She can make 147 healthy. So why doesn't Katie Taylor? Katie Taylor would get dusted if she fought Clarissa Shields at 147. He would, but it'd be a blowout.
And what's the first thing they would do if they found that fight? The very first thing they would do, they would put in a rehydration clause to further handicap first kills. That's the first thing they would do. They probably do a data weigh-in, a second fight they weigh in, everything. They would do everything they could to handicap her in hopes of trying to put her at a disadvantage. But we all like you guys said, Clarissa would clean the bull with Katie Taylor. And Katie, even last night, Katie Taylor had a moment in that fight where I think the person went to a corner. Katie Taylor ducked under, made her miss, and boom, came back with a strong punch. But the thing about it, Clarissa is a bigger, stronger, faster, more fierce fighter. And that Katie Taylor, and on no level, whatever skill she has, she's not prepared to deal with that at all. So, like I said, it will be, in a sense, a mismatch with Taylor and Clarissa Shields.
Yep, absolute mismatch there. So, yeah, that's just not gonna happen. So that's why I'm waiting for the Catskiller to dust off Katie Taylor and give her first.
Are they gonna make the go back down and wait for the fight?
You know what? I feel like they're gonna try it. They're gonna try it. They will try it because right. But the thing is, at this particular point, they were saying like Taylor is the highest paid women's boxer out there right now. So unfortunately, they feel like Katie Taylor is the Canelo of women's boxing. Oh. El Campeon. Oh man. Speaking of El Campeon, I'm going to be talking about El Campeon later on in the show. Hopefully somebody will join back in for this conversation. But I want to move on to Alvarez versus Joe Smith Jr. Man, like I'm, oof. This fight with Alvarez looked like his rematch against Kovalev, as he didn't do anything in order to force the action against Joe Smith Jr. And I kind of expected more out of him, and I expected more out of his trainer. Because I would have thought his trainer would have told him to be more aggressive against Joe Smith Jr. But no, Joe Smith Jr. just kept at it, just was right there throwing punches, throwing combinations and everything. And all that Alvarez did was throw a right hand, pop, and didn't do nothing. After that, it was a wrap. To that point, Atlantic City, Hard Rock, Atlantic City, first fight against Kovalev. Through those 7 rounds, who was winning the fight? Well, the judges had Kovalev winning too, up until that round where, yeah. So, I mean, he had that, and then he had the rematch where it was a clear victory by Sergey Kovalev. And after that, all he did was just fight some dude, where he just got, a knockout victory just to, get a knockout victory earlier this year against Michael Seals. So he ain't really did much between the Sergey Kovalev rematch and the fight against Michael Seals. That was almost like a year's time right there. And then after that fight, where, like I said, Michael Seals was just, a sturdy guy. He really didn't put much of a challenge up against Eleider Alvarez. So going against Joe Smith Jr., I said there's, what it was like round 4 or something like that, round 3 or round 4. I said, Smith is hungry for this win, because at that time he knew, like, if I don't win this fight, it's going to be a good amount of time if I fight for a world title again, if ever. So he knew, like, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to put in work, I'm going to keep at it, and then, whatever happens, happens. If I get the knockout, I get the knockout. But I'm going to do my best in this fight. And that's exactly what Joe Smith did. Broke him down, too. And it wasn't like the punch that knocked him out was really like like a real serious punch either. He just hit him with a straight right hand, basically a straight right hand that buckled Alvarez, and then he came again with the left, and then that's when Alvarez just went down to the canvas, went past the rope, and he was just laying there chilling. He had both hands behind his head. He was chilling. He didn't want to get up. Yeah. 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 I'm like, he was up there, man. I mean, he's like, what, 36? He hasn't been in the game since '09. You know, like 11 years to pro. Like, man, I don't got one. You know, I was a world champion at one time. So, man, yeah, yeah, you might say, yo, it's the wrap for me, man. Because
I like those. I like the star. He reminds me of Tom Porter too, actually. Except he has power, but we'll get into Tom Porter later, I guess. But I don't see Joe Smith doing it at the top level. I just don't. I'd love to see him fight better Diaz though. That'll be fun while it lasts.
But the thing here with Smith, he has the winner of Salamov versus Blasov, for that WBO belt. Huh? Yeah.
How poor the WBO rankings are. They're on the IBO level.
The World Bob Organization?
Yeah.
It's too bad. My goodness, man. Like Kovalev, Anthony Yard, Robert Parzyzewski. They put Gilberto Ramirez all the way at number 8. God damn. It's horrible. Oh, shit. Yeah, that was bad. But yeah, Salamov blast off. Like, come on, man. Is this the same Dmitry Bivol that that couldn't take out John Pascal because he said that he was worried about Pascal's power? That Bivol? Yeah. Nah. Mm-mm. And like, shoot, we don't even know who Bivol is going to be fighting next. Shoot.
Like his homegrown talent, he's done okay with them. But the guys he signed, Andre, Haney, Michael Hunter, Bivol, who's the one that just left? Hooker. Like, he's done such a terrible job with them.
Farmer?
Oh my God.
Well, I think that was partly Farmer though too, because I don't think Farmer wanted to get cracked. I think that's what it was. He didn't want to get cracked. So, oh well, he ends up holding the L anyway. And it is what it is. your favorite trainer was involved in the co-feature out there with Rob Brandt, Rob Brandt getting a technical knockout victory. That we don't need to really talk about that. Oh God, we just need to see if he'll be able to go up against against Ryota Murata, and hopefully Murata won't be 200 pounds in the rematch against in the. That's to be honest, that's probably the only time that you'll be giving them shout outs. Because we got to go into that whole other thing too, man. Come on, man. And the Fox thing, co-feature bout. Yeah, I was off in the rumor report live. I thought my guy would have at least done something, but he was there to collect a check. Like Gallimore was there to get a check against Pandora, man. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, split draw, yeah. Yeah.
Go up against like a Madrimov or something like
Yeah, Israel Madrimov. Yeah, he can have that. Or they could find a way to get him in the WBO rankings.
and that is Mr. Julian J. Rock Williams. So maybe he should not let his Twitter fingers do talking and actually fight Fundora. Because he's talking about how Gallimore is just a whipping boy now, since he's the one that put a stop to the day he was on. And I think he was kind of taking the credit away from Fundora. And even Tony Harrison got on it. Tony Harrison was like, yo, you doing some sucker nigga shit right now. So to me, J-Rock, hey, listen.
Hey, J-Rock was talking about, he was talking about, he's going to have, like one fight, then he wants to fight the winner of, Charlo versus Rosario. So,
didn't want to take that rematch, I can't respect that because you was talking real spicy about Jarrett Hurd when he did the same thing. And now you go around and do that, and then you want to shit on this kid's moment when he's fighting on national TV against a guy who they said could beat him, and he whooped Gallimore ass, and you taking away his shot.
Yeah.
So why would you step in the ring with him?
Yeah. I mean,
I wouldn't mind seeing J-Rock versus Tony Harrison, by the way.
Listen, I would want to see. I would definitely want to see that fight because they got. What is this thing going on? Because I don't understand this thing here. They got Lubin. Lubin is facing Terrell Gausha, and I'm like, why? Like Gausha really isn't, anywhere. Like if you fight Gausha, that doesn't do anything to move you up for any title. WBA? Yeah. Well, he's already number one in the WBC. So it's like, Yeah. Yeah. They're not. Yep.
How old is I want to say like 23?
24.
Yeah, still only 24 years old. So that's gonna be your future in that division. Once Mr. Charlo, because we can't call him Little Charlo no more, he'll go off on you. Charlo moves up.
Lions only, man. I started this. Oh boy. Goodness, man, goodness. Yeah, so that fight there between Lubin and Gausha, that is September 19th. Yeah, that's gonna be like you said, a final eliminator of some sort. So yeah. So we'll see how that goes there for Lubin, man. But yeah, of course.
Practically bludgeoning them, and pretty much like that fight reminded me of Tyson Fury versus Steve Cunningham, where it was early. What's his name tried to come out and tried to throw punches. Why did he not throw any damn overhand? Like he was in the dude's chest and didn't throw any overhand punches. And so the fight went on and he just got bludgeoned. He just kind of got beat up, and the dude, even though he was skinny, he put his weight on him. Even though he was skinny, it was just like he was just relentlessly coming at him. But how do you think he'll fare against the rest of the people? Do you think he'll use his 6'6" height? Because if he did use his 6'6" height, I don't see many people beating him if he used his height.
He ain't never gonna use his height. That's not his style. He likes the boy likes to mix it up.
Yeah.
He likes to fight, likes to get inside, let his chance. His uppercuts are freaking ridiculous. Like honestly, I thought Scalamor's head was gonna fly out the ring. So and leverage on those uppercuts. It was one ready him when he was in a row.
Yeah.
It really was like Scalamor's head went over. It almost wasn't fit, and I'm telling you, I was surprised. I didn't expect that out of him. So I think give him a couple years, and he will be top of the division. Because he says that he has.
Nobody gonna fight his ass, man. Ain't nobody gonna fight this guy.
He's with Al Heyman. Al Heyman is gonna position. One thing about Al Heyman, all his guys fight each other. Okay, this ain't no the zone shit. This ain't no top rank shit where you're trying to embarrass Teofimo Lopez when it's supposed to be the biggest fight on your in-house for you. This is Al Heyman. He matched up Charlo with Harrison. You saw Hurd with Williams with Rosario. All these guys always
Hurd with Harrison.
When they are exactly, they always fight each other. So there's gonna be room for Sebastian Fundora to get some work at 154.
And
I just hope that they don't try to move him too fast.
And by the time he gets there, around the mid-range in the rankings, Charlo's not going to be there. Hurd's not going to be there. So, and Laura, I feel like Laura is not going to have that much time left either. So,
So Najamal is gonna, he wants a little bullshit WBA thing. Vendetti versus Lara is probably gonna be for some regular title shit.
yeah, it is.
And the WBA is probably gonna name Najamal the mandatory for Lara instead of the super champion. But
Right.
they're gonna have the super champion try to go for the WBO to become undisputed.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's gonna be the route there, man. So I mean, I kind of feel like that's gonna be the case there in that instance. So I'm looking at that to like kind of be the scenario there for the 154-pound division, and Fundora is going to soon make his name there. I think he he kind of reminds, excuse me, kind of like reminds me of how Navarrete was at the super bantamweight division. We kind of has a similar frame. Has a similar. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, you see, like how he like built a whole little like bubble himself over by his house. like his sparring partners were able to stay there and everything like that. I'm like, dang man, like dang. Yeah. Yeah, he was very polished in that particular fight, you know?
I thought that Daniel Lewis part, the Australian kid,
Yeah.
the Wilder
Fury. Yeah, Wilder Fury, yeah.
He was trash, so you can't really
yeah.
anything from that.
He got caught a lot.
Yeah. So I think for Devontae fight, I thought Devontae beat him, and it just so happened that Fundora was the house fighter, so he was able to get the decision. So I thought Devontae Clark beat him pretty clearly. He was beating him to the punch every time. He was wrecking Fundora because Fundora has the tendency to crouch every time he fights. That's why I'm telling you don't use the fight. He always crouches because he likes to fight on the inside. And I thought Devontae Clark was fucking him up. So he was able to seal the draw, but I don't think he's in a rush to fight Devontae Clark anytime soon, even though he should. He should get a rematch, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't see that happening anytime soon. Yeah, not seeing it, man.
Sorry to say, yeah, of course. Oh, yeah, he's beautiful. He's definitely beautiful. But I'll give you one caveat with that. If his chin is legit, he's going to be a problem.
Yeah, that would be my thing.
He's going to be a problem.
That would be my thing. I think, like, with him, like you said, he likes to fight on the inside, and you doing that at like 6'6", at 154, like these guys here are willing to test that chin, and they'll be like, okay, let's do it. But you know what though? Like, given like many of the guys that hold titles right now, other than Charlo, you really don't have that many people that kind of like have much power behind their punch. So as long as he deals with folks like that, then he should be pretty good. He should be pretty good. Yeah.
Very, very slow.
Yeah.
It's like he's walking in quicksand.
Yeah.
So I
when he's slow and he's like off balance a lot. That's how that's pretty much what happened with him against Gallimore. He was just off balance a lot. So when Gallimore caught him, he pretty much caught him with punches that, when Rosario was coming forward and then he just slips and falls, and that's that counts as a knockdown. So that's basically what ended up happening with him. But and then you had the main event there: Sean Porter, Sebastian Formella. I'm biased, man. Yo, come on, Porter was doing his thing. God damn it, he was doing his thing. No, man, you should have been like the WBO super featherweight champion Jamel Herring and had both of those fights on at the same time in your house. Yeah, I ain't got Jamel Herring money either. Yeah. Oh, come on. Oh.
He's been working on power, the power, but he couldn't get this fucking guy out of there at all. Come on, man.
You know what he doesn't have? He doesn't have an uppercut. He's like Tim Bradley. Oh. He's like Tim Bradley. Huh? Nah, he beat Danny Garcia though. Oh hell no, hell no, hell no, hell no. Come on, man. You don't talk about the thing there between Porter and Thurman, but come on, Porter Garcia, come on, man. I don't know about all that, man. I'm a fan, but hey, hey. But yeah, man, he should have did something in order to just batter and bust them up. I ain't seen no uppercuts. I should have seen a bloody nose. I should have seen a busted eye. But it's like I don't know, man. Maybe he has brittle hairs like Floyd Mayweather or something. Because he could not even hurt this dude. Like one time he couldn't hurt him. And I'm like, yeah, if you gonna try to fight Errol Spence again, because I'm sorry, but Errol Spence is gonna win on November. You gonna have to do something in order to hurt the dude. I'm sorry. That strategy you had in that first fight was all good, but you gotta be able to hurt Errol Spence somehow, man. Because otherwise, you might get caught once again. Yeah. So yeah, he's due for getting caught. But at least you're able to see him fight instead of some other particular welterweight that wouldn't fight him. And now his fans claim that other guys are ducking him. So we're kind of going into the gossip section of the Box the Source radio show. And pretty much the rumor report section. And we are talking about a little bit about a champion by the name of Terrence Bud Crawford, or as Matt likes to say, Terrence Blood Crawford. Yeah. I'm gonna get if I get that sound bite. Look, if I get that sound bite and play it, then Terrence Crawford, Bomac, Steven Nelson, and Jamel Herring might not ever be on the show ever again. I'm sorry, but they won't be on the show. Oh man. But listen, like, and this is why I call this like the gossip section, because a couple days ago or yesterday, it seems like folks are talking about, oh, well, Terrence Crawford could have fought Yordenis Ugas, but Yordenis Ugas turned down the fight. And I'm like, what? Burr? Burr? Like, wait a minute. Like, hold on a second. What offer ever came from either side, especially from Terrence Crawford's side, that said that he had any interest in fighting your Dennis Ugas. Funny because a lot of people were talking about, oh, Keith Thurman, he wanted 10 million to fight Terrence Crawford, but isn't there a guy within Top Rank that talked with the representatives for Keith Thurman that distinctly said that they heard 5 million as what he wanted to fight Terrence Crawford? So where
how much is Thurman actually? He said 10 million. Now let me ask you a question. What is Bomac's position with Terrence Crawford?
the head trainer and the manager for Terrence
Now,
Crawford?
if you're a manager of a fighter, why the fuck would you not be personally in on the conversation to find such a big fight for your fighter? Why are you using secondhand information from Carl Moretti and you weren't in on the discussions yourself? Who's Terrence Crawford's manager? Like, I don't get it.
Well, we know who Keith Thurman's manager is. So what Carl Moretti said, how is it that Carl Moretti says that, but nobody within Keith Thurman's team confirmed it? Nobody close to Al Heyman confirmed it. None of them did. None of them. Right.
Keith Thurman asked for 10 million. And you thought that was too much. What was the counter offer?
Now, when Bomac posted on Facebook this thing, and I asked distinctly, I said, okay, even if he asked for 10, not only was it, did you even send a counter offer? I asked, what if instead of 10 million, what if he said 7 million? What would have been your response? I never got one. Never got a response.
And it's not like you don't.
Right.
You don't. Like, come on, bro. Like, he's a real good thing. This fucking lady don't want to fight. You know, like, listen, Sean Porter already exposed it. Sean Porter said that he personally spoke to Terrence Crawford about fighting him, and Terrence Crawford said now is not the time. Okay, do what you gotta do. Listen, just say, listen, ESPN, they don't want no pay-per-views this year because college football was canceled. They need programming for regular ESPN. So Bob has agreed to give them regular programming. I'm going to be part of the regular programming on ESPN. So we can't pay you XYZ because it's not going to be pay-per-view. That's all you got to say. And we will totally understand that. You know, fight Kell Brooks. It's fine. We would totally understand that. But don't act like people don't want to fight you.
Right.
Clearly, Sean Porter wants to fight you. Clearly, Keith Thurman wants to fight you. Clearly, Gary Russell wants to fight you. And your Dennis Ugas was calling you out since before COVID and during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So, how can you say nobody wants to fight you?
Mm-hmm. And I said this earlier, and I said, Bob Arum is master of PR spin because even like before COVID or during this whole thing with the COVID, you talk about your Dennis Ugas. Ugas said, like pretty much around like May time or whatever it was, that he wanted the fight with Terrence Crawford. And then the next month, Bob Arum says, "Oh, we got a list of fighters that Terrence Crawford could possibly fight. There's Manny Pacquiao, there's Sean Porter, there's Keith Thurman, there's Yordenis Ugas, and there's Kell Brook." Right? Okay. So how is it that from June until pretty much mid-July, you have an announcement from the WBA kind of locking down that Yordenis Ugas is fighting Ramos or ordered to fight Ramos? There's only one reason why that would be possible. It's because Ugas is available for that fight to happen. And with him being available, that means that that thing with Crawford, so that's out. Sean Porter, like you said, he said he called him and talked to him. He said, we're not interested in that fight right now. So you can't say that, hey, he wanted to fight Sean Porter. Nope, that's out. So you have Manny Pacquiao, you have Keith Thurman, and you have Kell Brook. Manny Pacquiao is not fighting this year. I seriously doubt that he's fighting this year because I think that he's just going to be in session in the Philippines. I think he has enough money. He don't need to fight this year. He should be good. So he don't need to fight this year. He could fight in January. So that's out. So then that leaves Keith Thurman and Kell Brook. Keith Thurman, come on. One of the most vocal fighters in the sport, next to Adrian Broner, or next to who knows, man, right? If you're gonna say something about a $10 million offer, come on, man. Nah, that's not Keith Thurman. That's not how he rolls. He's like, send the contract. Send the contract. You want to fight? Send the contract. Like,
you guys make me an offer and let's see if we can negotiate. But they're not interested in the fight.
Nope. So that's how. So then that leads Kell Brook. And like you said before, if all they said was that, oh, this will be on ESPN, it won't be on ESPN Plus or no pay-per-view or anything like that, so we won't have the extra budget to give you the, upfront and the pay-per-view back end, that would be fine. But there's two issues with that. Number one, the whole thing with the PR, that kind of like was bad. But number two, a couple of years ago or last year, before Crawford fought Amir Khan, the representatives from Top Rank, Carl Moretti and Todd both said that it wouldn't have been an issue for Terrence Crawford to fight on Fox or Showtime. Okay, if that is the case, then hey, if y'all don't feel like ESPN has the money to have the pay-per-view, then let's see if Fox or Showtime has the money for a pay-per-view. Hey, well, we know that Showtime, Fox would jump all over it. So why not have a pay-per-view? Like it could have been, okay, you have September, you have the Fox thing with Errol Spence and Danny Garcia in November. You could try to have it in October, or you could say, you know what? Let's kind of hold things back for both fighters until January and then have the pay per view in January. What's wrong with that? For both fights, yep. You can have that double header right there, just like the Charlo brothers. Yep. Nope.
You know, forget about Manny Pacquiao. Pacquiao, you know, wants to win the Philippines. Let's forget about him.
Yeah.
This is going to be basically for the top guy in the division.
Right.
And we hope Spence and Crawford come through these fights so that we can get the fight that everybody wants, which is Spence versus Crawford, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah, I don't believe it. Because, listen, to me, fans are full of shit. Fans are always talking about, oh, we want the best to fight the best. Well, how come Sabia versus Gavazdik did a horrible rating on ESPN? You know? So don't always say you want the best to fight the best. Say you want the best of the most popular to fight the other best of the most popular. And that's what you're really looking for.
Yeah. Because, hey, we're going to have Jermell Charlo versus Jason Rosario, and that's for the number one spot at 154. You think that's going to get that much interest? Okay, I'll go even further. Let's go down to 140. You're going to have in a few, within 5 or 6 months' time, Jose Carlos Ramirez against Josh Taylor. Come on. Or December. Okay. So there you go. You have that for December. We're gonna see how folks are gonna be really interested in that. And you're gonna have Teofimo Lopez versus Vasyl Lomachenko. Let's see how many of these fans are interested in that fight. That's supposed to be for the top spot at 135.
So if they can't do a huge number, like a sports game, like an Alabama football game, if you can't do millions of viewers, don't talk to me about the best fight in the best.
Yep. Y'all wanna ask about this type of stuff, and oh, this guy ain't fighting that guy, and this ain't happening here, and well, guess what? They're actually putting in some effort to try to make these fights happen. And when they do happen, you got to be able to watch it. But if you're not, then you can't say anything about, oh, there's nobody fighting the best and this and that, and whatever it is. Can't do it, So that's out of it, man. So it's going to be something there with Crawford. But like I said, man, he's going to end up fighting Brook. It's going to be on the ESPN. It is what it is. I don't know what date it's going to be. They say it's like October, November, right? But no, not the thing with Teofimo, but the date for Crawford, right? November 14th, right? But isn't that Ryan Garcia fight November 14th? The ladies have the zone. They want to see Ryan Garcia. Come on, man. Oh boy. But speaking of the zone, we got to talk about El Campeon. so El Campeon, says, David Benavidez, seems like you lost that WBC super middleweight title. It would be a shame if it was open for a vacant belt. And well, that's what ends up happening as you had, David Benavidez beat Romer Alexis Angulo, pretty much batter him for 10 rounds. And he wins the fight, but he loses the WBC super middleweight title once again. Now, you have Abney Odurum as the mandatory, as he's always been. And apparently, Canelo Alvarez is like saying, Abney Odurum, huh? Oh, that's good. It's almost like he's stealing Gennady Golovkin's saying, "Oh, Abney Odurum, he good boy. I'll fight him. He good boy." Oh man! So they want to see if they can make that fight for the WBC super middleweight title. However, the zone's like, you want to fight who and get paid what? Oh no, we ain't gonna go for that, nah, buddy, no. So you got a whole little mess going on in reference to if they're gonna have this particular fight, and now there's talk that talk about a rumor that if they do try to have this fight, it could go up the purse bid. And if it goes up the purse bid, then it's a possibility that Mr. Tom Brown or a representative for Heyman Boxing could possibly win that bid. And if they win that bid, you talk about only one pay-per-view for Fox? Not quite. Let's go for two and have Canelo against Abney Odurum on Fox pay-per-view. What about that? Yeah, you could. Yeah.
Even if Spinoza, who's had a previous relationship with Canelo, he's going to want in on that.
Yeah.
But what's interesting about that is that the zone is not looking to pay Canelo, but if they try to stop this fight from happening, then they will be in clear violation of the Muhammad Ali Act. Okay, because this fight went to purse bid, so he who bids the most controls the fight, controls the network. You can't force Heyman Boxing to put the fight on his own.
They don't need to touch it. They don't need to touch it.
Yeah, so I think they would be in for a real fight, and I do wonder if maybe Canelo is working behind the scenes with Al Heyman, because I spotted something very interesting in the Sean Porter Sebastian Formella fight.
Keep going.
Sean Porter and his father were wearing these hats. And these hats said like 3-time champion, something like that. But on the side of these hats was a logo, and the logo was Canelo Alvarez's logo. Yep. I was like, that's interesting. I'm about to put my conspiracy hat on. How's going on here? Why is Canelo's logo being promoted on PDC Airways?
Well, that's one thing. And the other is I've kind of like said this off and on for the past couple of months. Canelo Alvarez and Golden Boy have been clashing when it comes to making fights and securing contracts. The whole ordeal between him and Gennady Golovkin the second time was a mess. And the whole thing that went down before the Sergey Kovalev fight was a mess. And Canelo was not happy one bit after that. So, in reference to this particular situation, it's almost like another instance where Golden Boy could not secure a fight for Canelo Alvarez because they didn't really want to go forward with having the fight between him and Golovkin with no fans. But it wouldn't have mattered anyway because Canelo's like, fuck Golovkin. Yeah, I said it. I'll say it again. Fuck Golovkin. Right? For the second consecutive year. Uh-huh.
Allegedly, the zone didn't want to pay Colin Smith and wanted Canelo to take a pay cut to fight him. Now, he has this mandatory that can go to person, and the zone can lose control of the fight without any hopes of getting it back because at the end of the day, the Muhammad Ali Act will take precedence. So maybe Canelo is using this as leverage to get the zone to pay him all his money and give him Callum Smith as his opponent.
That's possible. That is possible. But I'm rooting for some way, somehow, that even with the contract that he got, that he's able to do something to break away from Golden Boy Promotions.
Oh, yeah. If anyone can figure it out, I'll hate it.
Yeah.
He just program called the Godfather of boxing.
Like, when you could, I mean, look at what happened here over the past couple of weeks. Like I said, Regis Prograis. If Regis Prograis and you have Maurice Hooker both under PBC right now. So that's one. But if you are able to secure the biggest or most lucrative boxer since Floyd Mayweather, why not go for it? Why not go for it? And but that's right. Because like I said, I'd rather have the situation for Canelo Alvarez to fight Abney Yildirim for that vacant WBC belt and it be on purse bid, and in some way, somehow, Al Heyman wins that purse bid. Now, if he's able to secure it to the point where, let's say, Canelo gets even if he takes 25, just to get away from Golden Boy for one fight, he could say, okay, I secured you for this fight for $25 million. But in the meantime, I could work some things over so that instead of you just getting that 25, you could get more off the back end through pay-per-view or whatever. So it could end up being that same 35 guaranteed that he's supposed to get on each fight through Golden Boy in the zone. So If he's able to say that for Canelo Alvarez and Alvarez is like, okay, why not? I mean, look, who's Canelo Alvarez's trainer? Mr. Eddie Reynoso. And Eddie Reynoso has a few guys that are under PBC, like Andy Ruiz Jr., like what is it? Luis Neri, is it? And shoot, who's the other one that's under there? Yeah, Frank Sanchez. Yes, Frank Sanchez. Yep. So there you go. Why not say, hey, let's have Canelo Alvarez here on pay-per-view one time real quick, and let's see how that works out. I'd be all for it.
And I don't think it's that.
Oh, no.
People are talking like, wow, Canelo Alvarez? Everybody thought he didn't retire. He went to something to go. You know? And he's going to be back in the spotlight as he should be.
Oh, God, you're such a hater of these apps, boy.
I'm not a hater.
That's not the issue. You know what my issue with DAZN is? No, because they don't even have to pay for all that. They really don't. They're pretty much like, the OTT. They really don't have to put up that much upfront cost for that equipment. My issue with them is with them being a streaming application, they really can't put much advertising outside of a very few networks. You don't have the partnership that Showtime has with Viacom. You don't have the partnership that Fox has with, Disney now. So those events could be promoted on Fox, Fox Sports 1, Fox News, or whatever Fox-based channel that's out there. You could even have it on, Disney-based networks if you want. So they have multiple avenues to promote their product. DAZN does not even close. They do have additional channels, but all of those channels are on those, those Fire Sticks or the Roku sticks or stuff like that. They have those channels like, DAZN Fight Club or whatever it is. But that's if somebody has one of those sticks. But if it's like regular cable, you won't see it that much. So you could only go so far with that. They ain't spending much, but at the same time, you're not making much at the same time, like I was saying. So they got the money. They're probably, they're losing money. They're breaking even. They're selling TV rights here. They're, giving you rights to have this over there to kind of like make money back. But as far as like actually trying to do something, as far as like for TV thing is concerned, they're not really concerned about that. They're concerned about online stuff. That's it. Online stuff, acquiring it, and then flipping it. They're basically flipping. That's what they're doing. They're flipping. They just flipping. Like the example with Wilder Fury 2. Like, okay, you could have Showtime show it over, or Showtime and ESPN, Fox or whatever, Fox or ESPN show it, in the States, you could have BT Sports showing in the UK, but we gonna have it over here in Colombia. uh, but hey, they want to flip money and then try to get money off that back end. Hey, that's fun now, man. But yeah, like I said, yo, that Canelo joint, man. I'm like, hey, remember when I had the video on the YouTube channel talking about Free King Ryan? Maybe we should have some for Free Canelo. Free Canelo.
Sitting on the bench, not fighting, because the network don't want to live up to their goddamn contract. That just should be boxing fans should be up in arms. But because Canelo is such a polarizing figure, they don't care. I don't get it.
Because he don't speak English? I don't know, man. I don't. Yeah, I'll just be straight up, man. You don't speak English, man.
But yet, a lot of videos have been the biggest and best fighters in the sport. What sense does that make?
Oh boy. So yeah, hopefully that whole thing gets worked out, man. And we'll see what happens here in the next couple of weeks, because I think that's going to be straightened out by, with I'd say the next 2 weeks, man. We're gonna find out something within the next 2 weeks about that. So that'll be all good. We got like a few minutes here in overtime, man. Anything that you want to kind of like drop out there for the peoples? Because the only thing we have coming up next week is Jeff Horn getting beat down. He might get beat down on Wednesday by Tim Zhu. Hopefully, Jose Carlos Ramirez and Victor Posal are able to fight, and they don't cancel that fight for the 50th time. And that's pretty much what's going down, man. Greg Vendetti. The villain? Oh, Alfredo Angulo's gonna be on that train. Oh man. Oh, jeez. I don't know, man. Yo, that's gonna be Now, if Angulo wins that fight, man. Yeah, keep going, man. That would be something, man. If Angulo does win that fight, that would be funny, dude. Absolutely funny. But yeah, that's the Microsoft Theater, Los Angeles, man. We'll see if that turns out to be something. I think that's going to be a little scrap though. Hey, Angulo versus Truex, that's going to be a scrap, to say the least. But I don't know, man. Yeah, if he gets that win, that's going to be even bigger upset there, man. So. Oh, before I close out, right? I want to revisit this Dylan Whyte Alexander Povetkin fight, right? Not quite for the action in the fight, but in reference to the result, right? So Dylan Whyte gets flattened. And initially, we kind of seen it as a knockout, right? But the result was put down as a technical knockout, right? Oh, they changed it back. Oh, they changed it. Ooh. Ooh. They got some hate. Yeah, TKO, yeah. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. That 365. Yep. Right. Yep. Like when you had folks like that were, writers and columnists and everything saying, hold up, what's up with that 365 and all of these folks? And this is a TKO. Nah, buddy. Y'all better play.
Have to finish the count in order for it to be a knockout victory.
Well, I ain't even really see the referee count. By the time he looked at Dylan White, he was like, nah, he ain't getting up. It's it. That's it. I didn't see him look. I didn't see Mark Lyson look at any type of outside ring person. They continue to count. He was like, nah, White is out, son. So yeah, initially they said it would be a TKO or whatever it was, but nah, it had to be registered as a knockout, man, because that would have been some serious trouble for those companies if they wouldn't pay out for that. So, but that's kind of like stuff that happens sometimes there when folks like put money in there to try to cash in on something like that. They'll have one of those controversial results or rulings or something like that, or worse yet, you could have your boy as the referee. He could be the referee. Hey, what, yo? But here's the thing with Jack Reese, right? Like, what if Jack Reese, like, actually called that thing with Charlo and Harrison, called that thing a knockout? No, actually a stoppage when he stepped forward before Harrison went down that second time in the round. Yo. Maybe he should have stopped the fight for beating up on Formella after all those rounds. Come on, man. That would be a good action fight, though.
The second mandatory because it was a WBC and IBF eliminator.
Mm-hmm. But the thing is, But the thing is, he's already atop at WBC. It's for the silver title, so he's pretty much, so he's pretty much locked in with the WBC, man. So that's how that's going to go. But other than that's all I'm gonna have here for this particular portion of the Boxing Source Radio Show. Hopefully, we could have Leroy Thomas on here, a little bit longer, so that he could talk more about being with Povetkin before Povetkin took out Dylan Whyte there. So hopefully we could get more with him. So y'all can catch us same time next week, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 4:30 p.m. Pacific Time. And like I said at the end of every show, folks, the point of boxing is to hit and not get hit, like Dylan Whyte got hit against Alexander Povetkin. Because you stand and trade, that's what ends up happening. On that note, folks, I'm out. Have a good evening, everybody.